Hey, what's up? Good evening. You're listening to another episode of Taking the Over, and I am your host, Billy Gunn, joined as always by the team man amongst boys on this, the official sports wagering podcast of Boot Crew Media. And as always, brought to you, empowered and driven by Royal Honda, where it's a great time to be at Royal Honda, where they have 80 pre-owned cars available for immediate delivery and 100 new cars, like the 2022 Honda Pilot EXL, Honda's flagship SUV. Taking the Over is driven and powered by Royal Honda, located at 5600 Veterans Boulevard in Metairie. Visit royalhonda.com to find your new car today. And T, it's an exciting time for Taking the Over. I don't think we're going to have Royal Honda on the pod anymore after tonight, but we may, and that'd be cool if we did, but we might not, and we might have somebody else or both. I think it'd be cool to have both. Just really give the people what they want. You know what I mean?
I know.
But how are you doing, man? I mean, welcome. We're I gotta warn everybody. It is. I feel like it's the night like that guy wrote the Star Spangled Banner. You know. Over here, in that we have a significant weather event going on. I could probably lose power at any time, but we're gonna power through it and hope for the best. It seems like every Wednesday in South Louisiana now we get some bad weather, and last week it was very tragic and very horrible, and our hearts go out to those people. And this week we hope that it doesn't get anybody, and that it just passes by safe. But other than the fear and loathing of the weather, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm safely nestled in New England, away from any tornadoes, but definitely feel for you guys down there, especially after not even just last week, but the seasonal issues you have with weather. So it's definitely something different for me. But other than that, I'm good. Getting ready for the Final Four, getting ready for baseball, getting ready for a hopefully long Pelicans playoff run.
Yeah,
And of course,
long
the best
Pelicans.
playoffs. Yeah.
Long Pelicans playoff run. Let's see them get past the playoff. I mean, it goes without saying the Pelicans are going to make the play-in game now, but we can only hope that that's a lengthy thing. We're about to get into a real boon of gambling opportunities here, man. And so we're going to get straight to the gambling tonight. Like there's no point in getting creative and inventive. I mean, we've got so much cool stuff coming up, starting with the Final Four. Which is going to be in New Orleans. And they had a Ferris wheel up downtown New Orleans right now. I hope the Ferris wheel is faring well. Everybody's safe by this Ferris wheel with all the weather coming in. But, I mean, to the gambling aspect of it, man, we got good Final Four basketball starting Saturday. And, I mean, it's weird. It's like March Madness starts with a boom of this crazy extravaganza of wagering. And it feels like it ends with a whimper. Right? On a Monday night.
I guess it's just, for me, it's simply the fact that there's only 3 games to bet on in college basketball left, and not 64 teams playing in a 4-day span where you can just go crazy. So, it's definitely like it's like an airplane. It kind of takes off with the roar and then cruises for a bit and then slowly declines into a safe landing and victory. But what a 4 team. So I'm not as excited, but it's definitely a good gambling opportunity. I think there's some value on the games this weekend for sure.
Well, yeah, let's get right to the value on these games. And I mean, I'm going to defer to you on a lot of this. Like, I don't have a very strong read on anything happening in the Final Four. I've enjoyed my wagering experience thus far with March Madness. It's been a blast. But I mean, starting with the first of the semifinal games on Saturday night, Nova and Kansas, where Kansas is a 4.5-point favorite. Line I saw this evening was minus 4.5, Kansas, and a total of 133. I know that I don't have a very strong particular read on this, but I know that you do. And I was awoken by a text this morning very, very early saying, I've got a Villanova theory, and I'd like to share it.
The Villanova theory doesn't have much to do with the actual who's going to win this game or betting, but I have something that's bothered me for a while, and it kind of started even before this Villanova theory. I don't know if you remember a guy who played at Kansas in 2012, I believe. It was a guy named Perry Ellis.
Perry Ellis, not the fashion designer.
No, the basketball player.
The basketball player. Is he the son of Perry Ellis, the fashion designer?
You'd have to fact check me. That's not part of my typical research.
Okay. Carry on. I apologize.
For the sake of the argument, let's just say yes until proven otherwise.
It sounds right. Checks out.
He was at Kansas for 4 years, plays in Japan now, but it's one of those guys where you felt like he was playing there for like 30 years, not just 4. Seemed like every single year he was a junior.
A lot of Florida State quarterbacks feel that way sometimes.
Right. So it's just your sense of time or whatever the reason. I don't know the cause of it, but Perry Ellis is the perfect guy because he's pretty distinct looking. He looks like a middle-aged man, kind of balding.
Okay.
He looks old. He didn't look like a college athlete, which is why he was so easy to remember.
So Perry Ellis is in Kansas.
He was until 2016.
Wasn't 2012, 14, 16.
Right. So that got me thinking. There's a similar theory that's even more, and I don't know the reason for this, but I have theories on that as well. So theoryception for Villanova. Villanova always has a white point guard who is Irish or Italian.
Interesting.
And they've had one every year for the past, it feels like forever. And they all are kind of the same. They kind of look alike. They're all the same height and play style. They all have something you can clearly tell where their grandparents are from based on their last name. Very Italian, very Irish name. So you had Dante DiVincenzo. You had Ryan Arcidiacono.
Oh, that's very Italian.
Right. You had someone before them. And you have Colin Gillespie now. And it feels like Gillespie it's just been Gillespie for the past 20 years. I don't even remember the other guys because they're so interchangeable.
Is he Irish?
He's got to be.
Okay.
So so I'm convinced that Villanova has a machine on campus somewhere where they not clone, but just a solid point guard producing machine.
They go down to the local Irish-Italian parade once a year and they scout out future point guards, is what you're saying?
There's something afoot, and I don't like it, but every single basketball team that Jay Wright coaches has basically the same exact sounding named guy who plays the same every year. And if you looked at it from a very high level, you'd think they're the same guy. So
you got anything on
that guy?
You got anything on Nova Kansas?
I took Kansas minus 3.5 on the line when it first opened. Because of Nova has a big injury. I forget his name, but one of their starters is down as a producer on offense.
You heard it here first. 3.5 Kansas. What you got on the total? 133 is what I'm seeing it at right now.
Yeah, 132.5. Looks like a lot of the money's on the under. The unders have historically hit at this point in the tournament.
Yeah.
At a stronger pace in this tournament too. I think the last 6 or 7 of 8. Like 85% of the last few games have gone under back to the Sweet 16.
Well, that's funny you say that because, I mean, nothing about the semifinal round really jumps off the board to me, but for the total in the other semifinal game of the classic matchup. Classic Final Four matchup. Sucks it has to happen in the semis, but at least we're guaranteed to see it. UNC, who I followed very closely. One of my picks of the week last week was UNC money line at positive money. Of course, it hit. And then they're taking on Duke, of course, on the Coach K farewell tour. And we know how this farewell tour went when they played back at Duke and Coach K's farewell home game. I'm not as interested. I mean, I really the outcome, the winner of this game is going to be super fun and super exciting because this is a very heated and storied rivalry. But I'm more interested in this total because you just a moment ago said 133 sounds like a lot on Nova Kansas. I see 151 with UNC Duke, and I shudder and go, I You know me. I hate taking unders, but man, do we have a candidate right here?
Depends on how you look at it. My thought on the total, I would stay away altogether. The first time they played, as you mentioned, when North Carolina beat the piss out of Duke in Coach K-ville or whatever it's called, it was like an 80 to 70 or 90-70 game. I think North Carolina dropped like 93 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that, again, a kind of a book reverse psychology thought is that whatever books are offering this, think that the casual bettor will just look at the most recent matchup to make all of their judgments on, because it was pretty recent. It was I think right before the ACC tournament.
Yes, the casual bettor should be going nuts on the over, right, and pumping this line up.
So you'd think the casual would go over in North Carolina hard, and tickets are split on both. Money is on North Carolina covering 4.5 or 4, and then on the over under, it's a lot of money on the under, about 70%. It opened at 150 and it keeps going up, even if all the money's on the under. So that to me is almost another looking at that number. If it's gone up 1 point, 1.5 points, while most of the money has been on the opposite, then why does it keep going up? Books are fine being exposed on the under. They're going to keep trying to bait more people into it. So maybe the over is the play if you had to go a total.
I like the under. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I just think it's too much, too many, too high profile of a game. Everybody's zoned in on defense. That's a lot of points for college basketball. Like you said, I think the filthy casuals look back to the last meetings that are recent memory. I'm going against every moral code that I have here, and I'm going with an under on this game.
An under, so. Okay. I don't like either one, but I think if you had to go either way, I think I don't have a read really either way. Based on pure data and tracking of who's done what so far, it looks like the over is the play. But this is like one of those games where, because it's Coach K's last ride, or whatever the hell he's calling his farewell tour that's lasted, it seems like a year. This game's going to overtime.
Yeah. Good. I don't know. That's a hell. Well, why don't you just place that bet then?
I am. It's going to be +5 or +1,500 probably.
Plus 1,500 to overtime.
That's usually what they give you for those, like around +15, +1,000.
Wow.
I'll
be rooting against you then.
What could go to overtime at 60-60? We both be happy campers.
That'd be great, right? Yeah. Praying for a 60-60 overtime outcome. In
very specific storyline, yeah.
Oh man,
there's a prop on that game I like that's still plus money that I think is a good play too. It's North Carolina has the tall goony kid with the long hair, Brady Manick.
Yeah.
Hey, over 2.5 threes is like +120 on DraftKings right now.
Huh.
I think he's hit that in the past 3 or 4 games, and he takes a lot of shots. He's their primary.
He fouls out too.
I don't know. I think 2.5 is easy to hit. I think it's a good play at plus money.
That'll be fun. I can't do the NCAA player props.
Is that where your morals kick in?
I know we've got NIL and all, but I still can't do it. I can't do it.
Gunn will bet on Little League World Series, but he will not bet on individual college players. They are just kids, remember.
There's a purity to the Little League World Series. I worry about Big Red and what's in it for him to hit those 2.5 threes. So I don't know, man. You got anything else for the Final Four?
No, I don't really like the Duke UNC game. That's one of those games where I don't have a problem with watching for pure enjoyment.
Yeah,
although I say that now.
Exactly.
I say that now. Of course, I'll probably put something in. I'm leaning UNC. I feel like, again, it's going to be a tight game. The lines, the books are giving you Duke -4.5 +100, trying to get more people on Duke, it seems.
Huh.
So they're not super confident in Duke covering anything. So I kind of like UNC -115, a little bit of juice, but I think it's a good play.
I think that makes all the sense in the world, and I could see myself putting that in play too. But I mostly, 60-60 overtime under. Yeah, go under 151. That's the only way to go.
I think it's tight either way. I just don't see how this game is. The TV networks are not going to let this game be a blowout.
Who do you think wins it all?
Don't care.
Don't care.
Duke, realistically, I think Duke wins this game, and then I think they can beat both Kansas and Villanova. It makes the most sense. Coach K's final season, it has to happen. I don't want it to per se, but I think that's
the narrative. The narrative would lead you to there, right?
Villanova, they're banged up. Like I said, I don't like Villanova as a UConn fan at all. So I'll root against them, and I'm pretty biased in saying that. But I think they'll lose to Kansas pretty handily, and then Kansas lose to Duke in a tight game. But Duke covers whatever spread you get, which will probably be like a 3 to 5 point spread.
Nah, fuck Villanova and their Irish Italian point guards.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. All right, you ready to talk about the NFL?
Yeah, it's just a mere 6 months away, so we're good to go.
This is now. I mean, I was shocked. I was playing around on DraftKings earlier, and I'd seen and really been paying attention to the division winner odds and Super Bowl winner odds and conference winner odds. And I was playing around on DraftKings earlier, and I saw, oh boy, now they've got like draft props up. They've got win totals, which is a whole nother episode. And I think it's almost obscene to do a win total episode right now. So I want to focus on something more obscene and division winners this week, and really kind of break down what the odds makers, which again, like we talk about odds makers, sometimes you'll say it as slang, what Vegas sees as who's going to win each division. It's fun to look at that because it's almost like you get to put a story together. You get to put a narrative together that supports each of these bets. And to be honest with you, like if I was prioritizing the wagers that I'm going to make this week, I'm more excited to take whatever money I'm going to spend on wagering and put it on NFL futures and division winners this week than I would be, for example, with Final Four bets. So let's get started, and let's make the people happy. Let's start with the NFC South. And this is weird because obviously we're Saints fans. We love the Saints. I try not to let my own biases interfere. But also at the same time, you have to weigh that out. This is going to be like a moral question for all the people that are new in Louisiana or Saints fan nation, Who Dat Nation, as far as like wagering on the Saints and what that looks like. It's a weird conundrum because you understand the team, you pay more attention to the Saints than anybody else, so you should have more insight on the Saints. But at the same time, you also probably have your own bias as a fan, right? But when I look at the NFC South division winner odds, and these odds are coming to us from FanDuel on this segment, the Buccaneers are the favorite, and they're a significant favorite. In fact, they're the largest favorite to win any division of any division out there as it stands right now. The Buccaneers are minus 320. The Saints on FanDuel are plus 500. Carolina is plus 1,100. And I didn't even write the Falcons' name down here. I just wrote the fails. And I was like, wait. Plus 1,900.
I almost give them better odds than the Panthers. In my mind.
I feel like they could do something shocking more so than the Panthers. The Panthers are doomed. I mean, obviously, look, it goes without saying, it feels like this is really a two-team race.
So, yeah, and if you use DraftKings, I think other books will have it, there's an option to do top two.
You could do top two. And then on the top two on DraftKings, I know what you're about to say. Buccaneers Saints is plus 500.
Sentences.
Yeah, Buccaneers Saints is plus 500 on DraftKings. It's like DraftKings acknowledges no. There's only two options, and so they actually are given the same odds on this particular bet as the Saints at plus 500 just to win it outright. Real quick, to shit on the Falcons just a little bit more. It's like, who is their quarterback? Oh, Marcus Mariota. is
Flying
currently their QB1, and I don't even mean to talk shit about Marcus Mariota. Let me say something nice about Marcus Mariota. If the Falcons were to bring in Baker Mayfield, I feel like this Marcus Mariota would still probably should deserve to be the starting quarterback.
I think he looked. He was like Taysom Hill, like diet Taysom Hill for the Raiders. Kind of spell quarterback, short yardage run, give him the option. I don't know. I mean, we saw him as a starter. Clearly, did not work out as expected. But he's more mature, been in the league. I could see a resurgence from him and play better than expected. Not enough to put them in the division race, but I think better than like what people are giving him credit for.
Yeah, I don't know. Boy, they're a fucking shit show. I mean, it comes down to the Buccaneers and the Saints. And look, it's crazy to me that the Buccaneers have they're the largest favorites to win any division of anybody out there. That's crazy to me. And I try to look at this. I can't look at this as a neutral observer, but just like sheer value, the Saints at plus 500 on FanDuel straight up, at plus 400 to finish 1-2, or plus 500 to finish 1-2 on DraftKings. I mean, is there a middle opportunity there?
Yeah, I do like the top two, like any order, whether the Bucs or Saints win, but as long as they finish top two, it's like minus 115. I think the Saints are worth a flyer too at plus 5. The only thing to me that could prevent the Saints from winning that division is injury issues.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing in all these bets is injury issues.
Like,
and I mean, specifically about the Saints, I was literally like the morning of the day that we signed Andy Dalton, I was going, oh man, fucking, I'm on the Jameis train, but like, what if he got hurt? I'm like, holy shit. But isn't it comforting to know that if Jameis gets hurt in any capacity this year, it's not going to be the Taysom Hill experiment. It's not going to be Simeon. It's not going to be Book. We went to the game in person.
Yeah, you saw the Ian Book game. Ian Book game.
The Ian Book game.
There'll
never be another.
In all fairness, he I think 4 of our 5 starting offensive linemen were hurt, except for CJ.
Oh, everybody was out with COVID. No. Look, I don't want to get into. I'm just saying. I mean, like, it's like having a grown-up there should catastrophe happen, and you have to factor in. And so, like, can you see a scenario? It really feels like a great hedge opportunity. It really feels like a great middle opportunity to go 1-2 here, and then a third with the Saints to win it all at plus 500.
It's going to be Saints Bucks no matter what.
Right.
That's the thing we're most confident about. I think the Saints can win the division. I don't see they won it 4 years in a row. You can't tell me that a healthy Jameis Winston is a step down from an aging Drew Brees.
And we'll have the NFC Offensive Player of the Year back at receiver.
They're only going to get better than last year. Again, as long as everyone's majority of the team is healthy if they miss 2 or 3 games here or there, Kamara gets suspended, what have you, none of that is enough to derail their chances, I think. From what we know about them, from what we have on the roster, aside from re-signing Traquan Smith, which is a whole nother conversation, I think they're just as suited as the Bucs to make a division run.
I mean, it's definitely worth it at plus 400, plus 500.
Right.
I mean, even if I wasn't a Saints fan, this seems like this would jump off the page to me.
They just, you know how the mainstream media works. People outside of New Orleans, outside of Saints, Nation, they don't give them any credit. Drew Brees left, and they think that's it. That's the team. And that's all they harp on. So.
I was shocked. I was shocked because, I mean, when we had Rosmaglu on, we talked about this. This was a specific question that I had. I was shocked at the lack of a market for Jameis Winston. I thought that he'd be a hot commodity, though.
Well, it was like Steelers, Colts, Saints, right? That was kind of
yeah. But I mean, I'm excited that he's back. I'm excited on the deal that we got him. Seems good for everybody. I mean, I'm pleased with Jameis at quarterback. I saw what I needed to see last year. I really did. So I don't know. Not to linger on it. I think Saints plus 500 to win the NFC South on FanDuel uh, is the way to go. You can find that at plus 400 on DraftKings, and you can find combinations that will lead you to middle and make money guaranteed. And any combination of both Bucks and Saints 1-2, which if you like football and winning every time, that's the way to do it. Moving on to another division that I think is fascinating is the AFC North. And the AFC North, man, watch out. You got the Cleveland Browns are the odds-on favorite. I got them at plus 185 today to win the AFC North, followed by the Baltimore Ravens at plus 200. The Bengals are coming off an AFC championship and a Super Bowl appearance, are third in their own division odds-wise at plus 220, followed by the Steelers, who other than the Texans, Jets, Falcons, and Seattle are the biggest underdogs to win their own division at plus 850. T, I want to tell you, without wading into the Deshaun Watson deal, the Browns roster on paper is terrifying. Terrifying. A defense, a running game. They did lose some receivers in the last 12 months. You got Baker Mayfield as a backup in case of catastrophe. If in the event they don't deal him, of course. But damn, dude. The Browns are stacked. And the bookmakers acknowledge this for purposes of them being the favorites in a division that includes a team in Baltimore who would normally be the favorite and a team coming off a Super Bowl appearance. Yet when you start to look at the Browns' other odds to either win the AFC or win the Super Bowl, it seems disproportionate. I think the Browns are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. It would serve to reason that maybe winning the division isn't even in their future because Deshaun Watson is probably going to get some of that Goodell love, some of that Goodell treatment, even in the absence of a conviction or any, proven misconduct with that stuff. Yet they seem disproportionately I could see them not winning the division, but actually winning the AFC. And maybe even win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pass on them at plus 195 here, but I want to hear your thoughts on the AFC North.
I think there's two that stand out to me from what the list you gave. I like the Bengals. Seems like to me they're only going to improve from last year. Lost CJ Uzama. I don't think that's a huge deal. They're probably going to go offensive line heavy in the draft and in their pickups and free agency. So that's their biggest need, protecting Joe Burrow. So at plus odds, especially I think plus 200, you said, that seems like a value play. And I like the Steelers at those long odds. Mitch Trubisky is going to be the quarterback, or Mason Rudolph, probably Mitch Trubisky. Been to the playoffs before, has won a division, but I think in Chicago. I think that the Steelers have a long way to go, but I think at that long odds, I don't really see a problem with sprinkling a little thing on the Steelers that long. They're still the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're still going to compete with Mike Tomlin as the head coach. So with that much juice, shoot, why not?
I mean, yeah, the Roethlisberger offense last year was just drop back and pray for something good to happen and have a solid young running back. I mean, it's crazy. To me, I think you're right. That's the only value here. Really, if you're from a wagering standpoint, would be an extreme long shot on the Steelers, because like you were saying, like the Bengals, dude, they've only gotten better. The problem was their offensive line.
Right.
They've added offensive linemen in the offseason, and they are the third favorite odds-wise in a crowded out of 4 teams in the AFC North. And that's why, like, there's some divisions, like, and as you're considering these bets and making these bets to the listener, consider value. It's never been more important. Like, this is the easiest elementary exercise in value. And like value in a division winner versus value winning it all. Like, it's just crazy to me, man. You know, like I know it's all about hedging and avoiding risk, you know, but I could not see. I mean, like, I see more value in a Browns AFC championship bet than a Browns winning the AFC North. And I think that's a more likely outcome too.
Yeah, because I think they could fall to a wild card spot and still make a run, especially if
Absolutely.
They
lose Deshaun for 6 regular season
whatever
games.
it is. Yeah.
You know, and then, but they have him for that playoff run and everything's coming together. And I mean, just, it's crazy. Moving on to the AFC East. The Bills are the clear favorite here at minus 180. Other than the Bucks, they are the second largest favorite to win any specific division, followed by the Patriots at plus 400, followed by the Dolphins at plus 400, and followed by the Jets, sadly, the sad Jets at plus 2,000. I feel like we're in your Northeastern wheelhouse here. When I think of the AFC East, I think of where T lives. Tell me something good about the AFC East.
Pretty far from Buffalo, but
I know you're far from Buffalo.
The rest of it works. Jets are plus 2,000.
Yes.
They would have to be plus like 10,000 for me to.
I know. I mean, it's like
there.
It's such a stupid bet. I wish you could, and they don't offer. I mean, I will find the bet where you can bet on them to finish the bottom 3 in the league. But yeah, no, I mean, there's no. I feel like you got to get a little more. Like, this feels so safe on it. Why can't you just make the Jets plus 50,000?
Yeah,
invite some sucker money,
but they're not gonna. There's 3 teams that are like like worlds away better than them. Like, all 3 of those teams, other than the Jets, are 2 of them are playoff teams. 1 was a game away from the playoffs last year.
Right.
Dolphins has a big number, but no value there as long as Tua is the quarterback, is my opinion.
No, he's garbage. Prediction time. I'm good at these. I'm very good at quarterback predictions.
Go for it.
One of the earliest episodes of Taking the Over.
Get this locked in here.
We labeled these guys as false messiahs. There's a lot of false messiahs quarterbacks out there. The NFL is a marquee league. They like to put big names on the marquee, and they like to tell you that every single one of these 32 quarterbacks is like a premier event. I predict this is the last season of Tua Tagovailoa as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I wouldn't. It's not that crazy. It sounds crazy
on the surface. I mean, this is it. How can you talk yourself into this?
That's what, like, the Tyreek Hill thing. He's fast. Great. They're going to try to get him in space. They're going to try to get him in space, short yardage, let him run.
They're going to tell him to go run around. Go run around.
It's going to be the college read option offense. Fake handoff, screen. Fake handoff, screen. Wide receiver, screen. Wide receiver. I get it if that's what Tua is limited to, but why would you limit yourself with him if he doesn't have any upside anywhere else? You know what? 78% completion rate for the majority of last year because all of his passes were under 5 yards.
Yeah. It's terrifying. I mean, the people that think that this is a likely outcome, Tua as a starting. I mean, it's insanity. I don't know. I see no value on the AFC East.
No. Bills are what, minus 400, you said?
The Bills are minus 180.
Oh.
The Pats are plus 400.
That's still
alongside the Dolphins.
High. Yeah, there's nothing there for me.
No, fuck it. Allen could get injured. Like you're talking about injuries. AFC West. the quarterback division, right? Everybody's talking about all these quarterbacks in the AFC West. And so the official quarterback division of the NFL, the Chiefs, are the front runner favorite at plus 155, followed by the Chargers. And this is curious to me at plus 240, followed by the Broncos at plus 260, and followed by the Raiders at plus 700.
Oh,
wow.
Love all of that.
The Las Vegas Devantes are the stepchildren here. And that's shocking to me because fuck it, why not throw them into the blend with everybody else?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You got the Chargers as the second runner here. I could see. I mean, look, I'd like to make one of those. You can bet on the final two teams in the Super Bowl, and that's fun. I don't see a bet where you can bet on the final two teams in the AFC Championship game because that would seem like chaos. But like, the Broncos could make a run here.
I think the Broncos finished last in that division.
Wow, you are not a Russell Wilson believer.
No, I hate Russell Wilson.
I do too, but I acknowledge that he's a fucking Hall of Fame caliber quarterback.
I think last year is I don't want to say it was like a fluke year. I think he's kind of on the decline. The Bronco team, this never works out the way you think it does when you get these like super teams or all these crazy acquisitions like the Browns, like the Broncos. In recent memory, those teams rarely they rarely have that crazy year they're expecting. That being said, I think every year 2 to 4 teams go from first. There are 2 to 4 teams in terms of changing in and out for playoffs. So 2 teams or 4 teams that won the year before are not going to be in the playoffs this year, and so forth. I don't think the Broncos are one of those teams that gets in. I think they're going to go 7-10.
Interesting.
I like the Raiders. The Raiders plus 700. I also like a top 2 either or order Raiders Chiefs plus 550 on DraftKings.
Ooh, wait, Raiders Chiefs?
Raiders Chiefs, either one of them wins or finishes second. So they go 1-2 in either order.
I like that a lot. Raiders Chiefs. It's like an exacta box at the horse track.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to always say I can find the 2 best horses in a 6-horse field. You're trying to help me find the 2 best horses in a 4-horse field. Raiders, Chiefs, exacta box, 1-2 is plus what?
550 on DraftKings.
Holy shit.
It's the third highest odds of all of the combos. The only ones worse are the Broncos, Raiders, and Raiders, Chargers.
I think the Chargers are overrated.
Chargers are the Chargers. They're going to do what Chargers do. They're going to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs by 1 game.
Oh, and the Broncos, like I said, I think we diverge on the Broncos, but I'm willing to be swayed. And I don't see a reason why the Raiders can't fucking be that good. I don't see a reason why.
Yeah. Derek Carr's the only issue, I think, with that team. Wow. The only person who's going to lose them games is Derek Carr. Defense was improved last year. Obviously, have Devontae Adams. Don't love the McDaniels hire. But offensive guru, whatever you want to call him.
Sometimes goodbye is a second chance, right?
Yeah, look at Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
Although we don't know when we'll get there either.
I don't know. That's a fun bet. I feel like the Broncos would be the spoilers in that.
I would Raiders plus 700 I like, and then that 550, we'll call it the Raiders Chiefs exacta.
The Raiders Chiefs exacta box. You got to put a box on it.
All right. So the exacta box plus 550 is, I would also add that to my board.
Yeah. I love it. These bets take discipline, man. These are not instant gratification. These are not low impulse control bets.
This is not my wheelhouse.
I know.
I'm cashing out 2 games in.
These are it's like savings, man. It's like a savings plan. It's like the stock market. It's like putting your shit in an annuity.
Yeah, it's like a 401k where the 401k could completely disappear in 6 months if I don't pick the right 2 teams.
It's like an annuity of degeneracy.
Literally, it's like my stocks are sitting there going either Great Depression or like boom. based on how good Derek Carr plays. Derek Carr, my wealth advisor.
I trust Derek Carr because I have a natural bias to him because he wears eyeliner. But
that's right.
That takes away from the fact of how good of a quarterback he is. But I do remember, I don't know, I love watching the Mannings. See, we're going down like football memory lane. I love watching the Mannings simulcast or whatever on Monday Night Football, and it was like the Mannings and like Russell Wilson, and they were watching. There's like one of the first episodes of that, and they were watching Derek Carr either in like overtime or end of regulation, and they were like, "Holy fuck, this guy's a toddler."
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys where that sounded like Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy.
Here's a guy over here. Oh, he wears eyeliner, but he's got a.
He seems to me like Jameis pre-Saints Jameis, like trying to do too much every play. And I think he's learned that. You've seen it in the last 2 years. He's starting to throw the ball away more. Yeah. So I think if he takes that final step into being and accepting that he's more, I would say, closer to a game manager than a gunslinger, and stop trying to be the gunslinger when your team wins when you're the game manager, I think that'll be the differentiating factor by how far they go.
And Josh McDaniels is going to hold his hand to take him there, or at least the second place in the AFC West. Let's move on to the AFC South.
My favorite division.
Is it?
Yeah, this is like classic Thursday night football, yellow on purple or pink or light blue jerseys. Just every Thursday night game is AFC South Division for some reason.
You know, it's fun. Well, then I'll start here. I'll start way out of order. You know, they give Jacksonville the same odds to win the AFC South that they give the Raiders to win the AFC West at plus 700.
That's like insulting to the Raiders.
I don't even know who that insult. Yeah. Colts are the favorite at plus 110. Titans plus 125. Jacksonville plus 700. And the Texans are plus 2,600. That's the longest odds of anybody to win any division, even beating the Jets at plus. Like I said, I think you could offer the Jets at plus 50,000. And it would be a great sucker bet. I don't think you can do the same thing with Houston. Plus 2,600. It feels right.
Is Davis Mills the quarterback?
Davis Mills is the quarterback of record in Houston. He's not bad.
They need to get Mike Glennon too, so they can have like the two longest necks in the league in the same locker
room. We should loan them. We should, like they do in European soccer, we should send them Andy Dalton on loan some weeks.
There you go.
I mean, fuck. I have this weird thing where I've hated Matt Ryan my entire life, his entire sporting life, since he came into the league with the Falcons. And I'm like openly rooting for the guy to have some success in Indy because I feel like he can. It seems right. Another stopgap quarterback for Indy, but they are a solid ass football team. Carson Wentz only doesn't play well when it matters. You know, and I saw that every step of the way last season. I see with the same clarity that Matt Ryan can be good and manage at a minimum, he can manage a game because he hasn't been asked to manage a game his entire fucking career. I mean, Indy feels like a lock here. Indy at plus 110, it feels like an even money lock, right?
Yeah, I mean it's them or the Titans, so that would be maybe the either or if that's a good value one. But Texans I don't think have much of a chance. They're going to upset teams throughout the year, but I think they'll still finish around that 5-win mark. And then Jaguars take a step up, maybe get to 7-10.
Texans are a damn good football. The Titans are a damn good football team.
The Colts just seem complete, and I think the Matt Ryan addition is what sets them ahead. He's better than Tannehill, obviously.
Is there an exacta box? Is there an exacta box on Colts Titans?
So you can do an exacta, or you can do the exact order. But in terms of like top two,
let me put a box on the top two. Let me get the top two round robin. What's
That's
it look like?
minus 200 Colts
Minus
Titans.
200.
Colts Titans because they're so.
Fucking A.
So
I'll
you're
take
only.
that, dude. I'll take that. That's free money.
But if
You think Jacksonville or the Texans are going to jump up and be the home wreckers on that?
no, I don't think unless there's a major injury on the Colts or Titans.
Holy fuck!
Who's Titans are largely unchanged aside from not having Julio Jones who didn't even play.
The Titans are the Titans. Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they're gonna be fine. They're good for at least second place.
Colts.
With the, I mean, that is, and minus 200 seems fair.
I know, but that's just one freak injury away from just.
I feel like both of these teams can withstand a freak injury.
Yeah, against the Texans, Jaguars.
Right, against the Texans and the Jaguars. Texans are going to win 3 games, 4 games. You see the Jaguars winning more than 6 games. And we have the game totals. We're not getting into them this week, but I mean, first
I would
first
go Colts
two.
only.
First 2, Colts Titans. You like the Colts at plus 110.
I think so. If I had to, I think this is a no value division.
You think it's a safer bet? You think it's a safer bet than Colts Titans either or to finish 1-2 at minus 200? I'll take that minus 200 bet, dude. I will put a lot on that. That feels like free fucking money.
Yeah, I think that's the logical and not even just logical. It's like the obvious pick. So if you had to go anything, I think the minus 200 play is it. But other than that, I don't. It's too close of a toss up for 1-2. So I think you're safer going those 2 and just removing the Jaguars and Texans altogether.
Yeah, you know that. I mean, they're not factors.
Yeah.
NFC West is a real conundrum. Rams, your Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams are plus 150 to win the NFC West, followed by the 49ers at plus 195, followed by Arizona, which feels like it's somehow devolving into a shit show at plus 270, followed by the fire sale in Seattle at plus 1100. I don't know. The NFC West is always a weird thing to me. I find myself not betting on these teams as much during the season. If it's time zones, television, compelling storylines, or what. I have a historical hatred of the 49ers as a young Saints fan from the former NFC West. Don't really like Seattle. Arizona, they are about to be in a Baker Mayfield. They're 2 years away from a Baker Mayfield situation there with more injuries involved. And your Rams are your Super Bowl fucking champions at plus 150. I mean, I have to wonder, how is this 49ers line set at plus 195? Is this assuming Jimmy Garoppolo? Is this assuming the other guy? Is this assuming some other unknown quarterback? Does Tom Brady fucking get traded to the 49ers like before the season starts? What is going on there?
They're kind of being secretive about the Jimmy Garoppolo situation. Kyle Shanahan's kind of said like they're not going to go out of their way to trade him, but if someone gives them enough in return, they would get rid of him. So I have to expect that Trey Lance will probably be the starter unless he fails miserably and Jimmy Garoppolo has to come in. Even in that situation, it's probably not enough to win the division. So defending Super Bowl champs at plus money, that seems like the best place for me. I don't think Seattle's not going to do anything. I don't even know who Seattle's quarterback is. Is it Geno Smith? That's the only quarterback on the roster, I think.
Exactly. Well, even still, like they're only plus 1100. I mean, they've got better odds than they're not too far from our beloved Raiders.
Beloved Raiders
of Las Vegas.
Cardinals are fucked. They're done for a bit. They're going back to mediocrity.
Yeah, they really are. It sucks. They didn't do anything wrong except draft that asshole. So draft a fucking child to play quarterback.
That they're like the way too aggressive trying to build the college offense in the NFL, which they don't do it tastefully, for my opinion. They don't mix it in with the traditional offense.
No.
So I don't think they're gonna last. Rams for me, 150. Gotta go.
That's a good value. That's a really good value. That feels like a winner too.
Yeah, I would even go maybe the exacta box again. Rams 49ers.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Unless
Right.
Trey Lance is
What's the exacta box? What's the exacta box of Rams 49ers?
All right, calculating exacta box. They plug it in. What is this division? NFC West.
It's NFC West. Royal Honda drives, taking the over. Go ahead. Oh, I was going to do a Royal Honda. Wait, as soon as you're ready.
I was like, is there more? I didn't know if there was more to that, or if I was supposed to somehow work this into a driving pun.
Yeah.
Driving the 49ers Rams plus 150 odds is Royal Honda.
Royal Honda. We love them.
Plus 115.
Friends forever. What's that?
Plus 115.
No,
Niners,
fuck that.
Rams.
I'm out on that.
I would go Rams plus 150.
Rams plus 150 all the way. NFC East. God, I fucking shudder. I really do. But there's a funny story in this one. Dallas minus 115. The Cowboys are the favorite to win the East. Followed by Philly plus 310. Washington football team. I was trying to do some Washington football team shit earlier, and I was like, what's their name? Are they the Generals? The command. What kind of list am I going to show up on for Googling Washington Commanders? They're plus 450 with the Carson Wentz experience as their quarterback now, and the New York Giants are plus 650. And I don't know. I mean, there's maybe a little value with Philly here.
Can we take a prop on all of them to finish below 500?
That feels fair.
That seems like more value to me.
I don't know. Like the
Cowboys minus 115 isn't terrible.
Oh, but shit. I'm talking about one injury away.
I think it's the Eagles or Cowboys or nothing. Giants are not, unless Tyrod Taylor's the quarterback, he's still enough to win the division.
You got a top two on Dallas, Philly?
That's probably going to give you worse odds than just taking Cowboys outright. But why don't you?
You think you think the rest of the world and the bookies and Satan all agree that football team and the Giants? I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I hate everything about the NFC East.
Yeah,
they shouldn't even get a guaranteed playoff spot anymore. You know what I mean?
Plus 125.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Giants Commanders plus 2,200 if you're really feeling frisky and just fading the entire all rational thought.
Just Dallas gets hit by a fucking meteor and oh my god.
Jerry Jones plays quarterback. I don't know. We need something terrible, like drastic to happen, but yeah, there's only a few divisions with like a ton of value. I only see Eagles there, maybe a plus 300. They seem like, unless Jalen Hurts takes another step back, I think it's them or the Cowboys for me. I don't think Wentz. Do you think Wentz takes the commies, the Commanders, on a run?
The commies. No, I don't. I'm a noted Carson Wentz critic, and I've been 200% right about Carson Wentz every step of the way. I mean, I feel bad for their fan base. I assume they have a fan base, the Washington people that play football. And I mean, I can't imagine what it's like. You're just chill. They're coming off a season where they had Taylor Heineke, and then they're kind of engaging in this Dwayne Haskins experiment. And then they're like, oh, we got the answer. Broken Carson Wentz.
Imagine. Yeah, I don't think he's all right. I don't want to do an ode to Carson Wentz here, but I don't think he's as bad as he gets a rap for. But his bad.
He's neither Irish nor Italian. He's neither Irish nor Italian. I know you hate those people.
I just like the ones that don't like the ones that go to Villanova specifically. Okay. Very niche hatred group, but Wentz to me is okay. I don't think he wins the division. Imagine being a fan of that team, though. You've had to buy 3 separate like sweatshirts or bumper stickers or yard flags in the last 3 years.
It used to be it was like one of the hardest tickets to get in the NFL, and they had a waiting list of like 100,000 people. Not anymore.
They're running a contest this year. The first 5,000 fans in the arena each game get to name the team for the following week.
I was thought they might make them the day-to-day like CEO, because I'm hearing that Daniel Snyder, it was on an article on ESPN just before we went on the air that it was just a ESPN article just affirming that Daniel Snyder will not be running the team day-to-day. The lady that has put up with his shenanigans for the last 15 years will. I'm sure she has better judgment.
We still have Ron Rivera. He kind of gives me.
And they have Ron Rivera, a fucking good guy, Ron Rivera.
He gives me the creeps.
He beats cancer. He can't beat the fucking NFC East, dude.
He seems like he's like secretly an evil guy.
I think he's a great guy.
I think he's really intense, and he kind of just, I can't get a read on Ron Rivera.
I don't think you have if you think he's a creepy bad guy, I think you got a bad read on him.
I'll prove it one day. That's my mission.
Right. Oh yeah, you have to go plant some crack on him. Yeah. NFC North. NFC North, Green Bay, -180 to win the NFC North. The Vikes, holy mackerel, the Vikes are +280. Start playing in that exacta box now. The Bears +850, and the Lions are +1200. Who's the Bears quarterback going into the season?
Fields.
Holy mackerel.
No Andy Dalton to save him this year.
No Andy Dalton to step in, and no Mitch Trubisky to stop that.
I think Nick Foles is still on the roster, actually. He might be the backup.
So hope. Have you pulled up a Green Bay Minnesota 1-2 finish yet?
Yeah, you're not gonna love it. -165.
It feels, I don't know. I love it better than anything else out here.
Packers Lions. Packers Lions.
Yeah, did recently announced that the Lions are going to be on Hard Knocks.
Statistically speaking, the team who's on Hard Knocks makes the playoffs 98% of the time.
No, they don't.
No, I don't.
No, they don't.
I don't think they've ever made it if they've been on Hard Knocks. Probably.
I've never disputed anything you've said. You can just throw whatever bullshit fucking stats at me, and I'll just go, okay.
I tested the waters to see how gullible you were there, but
no, fuck that. You're full of shit.
You know, I have a soft spot for the Lions.
Yeah, I know. I got a soft spot for their crazy ass coach, Dan Campbell.
That's gonna be a good Hard Knocks.
That's gonna be a good Hard Knocks. I've not been this excited about a Hard Knocks in a long time.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. Better than the Colts mid-season, whatever that was. But
I didn't watch that. I watched no part of that.
I watched like 1 or 2, and it was tough. It was not. It felt like a chore. It was not entertaining. Carson Wentz is not a fun guy. Broken Carson Wentz.
I didn't want to allow the essence of broken Carson Wentz into my home.
Do The Exorcist after that.
Yeah.
It was not very exciting, but it'll be a good Hard Knocks with Dan Campbell. He seems like a good guy too.
Yeah. Why not? Of course he is. Good guy, Dan Campbell. I don't know, man. That takes us through our review of the division winners and division winner bets. It feels like we got really excited about a couple things here. Rams +150 seems disrespectful. This -200. On Colts Titans is just out of this world to me. Saints at +500 seem like a fantastic flyer. You've almost twisted my arm into the Raiders. There's a lot going on here, and we haven't even gotten into, which we will do in future weeks, these team win total bets. And that's where the rubber really meets the road. And at the same time, I really do like before we get away from this division winner, I want to talk about a couple of Super Bowl winner or conference winner opportunities. And man, T, it's all about the Browns here, right?
I'm not jumping on their bandwagon yet.
I'm not jumping on their bandwagon. I'm not like proud to be.
You sound like a Browns fan this episode. You've
I
been
I
all
lived
about the
I lived
Browns.
there for a moment. It was tough being amongst the Browns people, the Cleveland fans. You know, I mean they are the favorite to win the AFC North, which I don't think makes much sense. I think it makes better sense. Like I said, my narrative, my prescribed narrative would have them winning the AFC before that.
I think it's probably an AFC West team, right? It has to be.
I feel like the Chiefs are done, man. I feel like that the era of the Chiefs is coming to an end. It's felt that way for a moment to me.
Maybe it's the
But
Bills' turn. They've been kind of knocking on the door.
yeah. Oh no. I mean, Vegas, the Bills are the odds-on favorite not only to win the AFC, but to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the Saints are plus 5,000. That's what I'm going to pick.
The Bills are plus 650 to win it all. They're the lowest odds, followed by the Bucks at plus 700, followed by the Chiefs at plus 1,000, followed by the Packers at plus 1,000, followed by the Rams at plus 1,000, and followed by the 49ers at 1,400, Chargers at 1,600, Broncos at 1,600, Browns at 1,700, according to FanDuel. Then we come over to conference winners, and this is where I think the Browns have value, plus 900.
If it wasn't for how the AFC West is shaped up this offseason, not to like jump on that storyline too hard, I just don't. The Browns to me are still the Browns until proven otherwise.
And that's where I want to. That's exactly where I wanted you to go. I brought you into my trap because it feels like a couple of games, 2 to 3 to 4 games into these seasons, Deshaun Watson's not on suspension yet. There's some kind of weird thing going on, or maybe he misses the first 4 to 6 games and then he comes back. Cleveland goes fucking 3-3 or whatever with Baker Mayfield maybe as the starter. Who knows? They could do even better than that. It feels like a couple weeks of the Deshaun Watson-led Cleveland Browns are going to lead to some. I can see their odds going way down as far as like their people are going to go, oh my God. It's a borderline super team.
Not for me.
All right.
I respect everything you said. I agree with it. I think I'm not in the right mindset either. I got to wait for after the draft to make my final decision. But the Browns to me are I know it's cliche. They're still the Browns. I don't see them putting it all together on not the first year, maybe next year.
It's the fun of this time of year. And that's why I want to hold off on the win total bets until after the draft to make it fair. But next week, T, we're going to have draft picks. Draft picks. Are you excited for next week?
I'm very excited. We're getting our own draft picks. Who are we taking?
We're going to bet on the draft.
Draft props.
Next week. We're going to bet on the draft next week via Draft Kings.
And I'll make sure the windows are closed next week so it doesn't get a little drafty in the recording studio, of course.
We're going to be the kings of the draft next week. When it comes to gambling on the NFL and drafting and being kings, there's only going to be one place you want to go to.
Tune in next week. Say goodnight to all the lovely people.
Say goodnight to all the beautiful people listening to Taking the Over.
Good night to all the beautiful people listening to Taking the Over.
And we'll see you all next week, all you kings and queens of the draft. Later. Kisses, hugs, loves, goodbyes.